Check, check, 1, 2.
We hear you okay, DJ?
Yes, sir. Thank you. And we are streaming. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Right.
Okay.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, this is crazy. So this meeting things we're on camera trials kind of thing. That's engaged. It's important for your needs and important benefits. Yeah.
Las Vegas, you are unmuted.
Yes, thank you, DJ.
I need this one. I'd like to call today's meeting of the Nevada Department of Transportation Board of Directors for Monday, September 12th, 2022 to order. If I could ask the clerk to take the roll, please.
Good morning, Governor Steve Sisolak,
Here.
Lieutenant Governor Lisa Cano Burkhead,
Here.
Controller Catherine Byrne,
Here.
Member Virginia Valentine,
Here.
Member Stephen Esquaga,
Here.
Member Justin Kaub,
Here.
and Member Gary Perea.
Here.
Governor, you have a quorum.
Thank you very much. Moving on to item number 2, public comment. This is the first time set aside for public comment. Anyone wishing to address the board on any item on today's agenda, items on the agenda, please step forward and identify yourself for the record, and comments will be limited to 3 minutes. I'm going to start in Las Vegas. Do we have anybody in Las Vegas for public comment? No, all these people nobody wants to speak.
Not at this point.
At the end, okay, got it. Okay, we'll get there. I have no one in Las Vegas. Do you have anyone in Carson City?
Governor, we have no one registered for public comment here in Carson City, and I don't see anyone approaching the podium.
Okay, do we have any written or telephonic public comment? We do not. Okay, moving on, close item number 2, public comment. Move on to the director's report, item number 3.
Good morning, members of the board. Happy to provide our report this month. As we normally do, I'm going to just go ahead and get started while we wait. As we normally do, I'd like to start today with traffic safety. Through the third quarter of 2022, we have seen overall statewide fatality decrease of 2.8% from the same time last year, which you can see on the slide. And that is good news, but just a reminder, last year was the worst year in 16 years. So we're hoping to continue to see a decrease. Across Nevada, rates of fatalities have gone down in many counties, although some are still above where they were last year, including Carson, Lander, Pershing, and Clark. The rate of motorcyclist fatalities has increased over 6% statewide. Pedestrian fatalities are consistent with last year, and bicyclist fatalities are up 50% year over year. Impairment and speeding continue to claim the lives of travelers over the state. And today I'd like to talk on the next slide about state versus local road crashes, and one of the things that we're doing to address the statistics, which is local road safety plan. I think I've shown this slide in the past, and it shows on the green is the local crashes, and the blue is the crashes on statewide network. And you can see majority of the local crashes happen on, or majority of the crashes happen on local roads. And so one of our key strategies and a federal highway proven safety countermeasure is to do local road safety plans that incorporates our local agencies and helping them figure out the best strategies to address the crashes on their network. We have recently just finished a pilot with Nye County. They worked with us and Federal Highways under a pilot program to develop Nevada's only current local road safety plan. And we're really excited and looking forward to the projects that may develop as a result. We're currently finalizing our process for federal review and grant application processes to fund additional data-driven local road projects identified in those local road safety plans. And in Clark County, the RTC has endorsed the process, as well as we've already started conversations with the city of North Las Vegas to help develop a local road safety plan. What I like about this is we recognize the local agencies don't always have the resources to focus on this, and so we're actually coming to the table to help provide those resources, whether it's funding and or consultant capacity. So very excited about that, how we can partner to make sure we're bringing crashes down across the state. One of our new systems, I wanted to talk about our new 511 system. We've had our 511 system since 2007, but in October of this year, we're going to see some really important improvements, and we're excited to see this because we know a lot of team members or a lot of community members across the state use 511. And so in October, we'll see improved navigation with a better base map, upgraded route planner to see conditions and incidents on the drive ahead. And what I like about this, and you can see it's a northern Nevada picture for our folks that commute regularly from Reno to Carson, they can put their commute in there once and then continually receive updates about what their commute looks like. So they don't have to look at it every day. They'll just get pinged with those updates. So we're excited to see that. We'll include dedicated trucker mode with specific truck information, such as truck parking, which is critical whenever we go into the winter months and we see I-80 frequently closes, and so how do we manage the trucks across I-80? But we've also seen that down here in southern Nevada with I-15 closing. In fact, it even closed in the last couple of weeks with all the flooding that's been happening in the dry lake bed. So we're excited to have that truck-specific mode coming up in October. And we're going to be able to have higher call and login volumes for the phone numbers, as well as hoping to make sure that it makes it easier to drive safely across our state. So 511 updates coming in October, excited about that. I'm excited about a lot of things this month, and this is one of the ones that I'm super excited about. So August redistribution. So this month, we received notification from Federal Highway Administration that we will receive up to $101 million in additional obligation authority. Every year, every federal fiscal year, Federal Highways provides funding for a lot of programs, but they limit how much we can actually obligate during the year. They say, NDOT, you have $100 million, but you can only obligate $75 million of that, and that helps them make sure that we don't overspend the books. Well, then in October or in August, they ask us, do you have capacity to deliver more? Can you obligate anything more this year before the end of the federal fiscal year on September 30th? So we go through and we figure out where our projects are, we figure out where our budgeting is, and we ask. You'll see that this year it's $101 million is what was approved. It is the biggest that has ever been approved. Nevada ranks 11th in terms of total dollars that we've been able to receive this way. And I think what's important on this is it's not necessarily additional projects, because we have to obligate it by September, right? So those projects are already on the books, which means we are really working, we're using our consultants, we're doing everything we can to make sure that we're over-prepared so that when federal funding obligation authority becomes available, we obligate that. Where this money comes from is other states that maybe weren't able to fully obligate their program, but then also critically, and especially this year because of the new bill, if there were grant programs that they weren't able to obligate, so some of that funding. So it's how they balance their books, it's how we come to the table prepared. And for context, it's the 11th most as states rank. And in the base bill, we're normally at about 38, meaning that we're a smaller state. So, I mean, we really did outperform in this space. It's a 25% increase in our total federal funding. So we really do try to come prepared. I'm just going to caution everyone, though, I do not anticipate that big of a number next year because all of the states will have ramped up for this under this new bill. So I imagine more of the obligation authority will be consumed. There won't be as much on the table. All right, I got a few project updates. We are currently working on Remileposting Mountain City Highway north of Elko. So we reconstructed this roadway. It's approximately 7 miles of State Route 225 near the Wild Horse Reservoir State Recreation Area. But one of the things that has happened recently is we transferred authority to the urban portions of that road to Elko County. So our mileposting was incorrect, and that can be problematic when you need emergency services. So we're going out there, we're remileposting it. And the cool thing about this is also that the milepost signs will be the larger, more current signs. They'll be 18 inches by 54, which will make it easier to identify where you are should you need emergency services, and easier for emergency services to get to you. Second project update, I-515 viaduct. I think the biggest thing about this is it's done. It is done. It is done early. 91 days early to be exact, which is incredible. It was supposed to be 370 days, which would have taken us almost till Christmas, and it was completed in 279. We're working on punch list items, so there may be a few intermittent closures on the local roadways at Desert and in Eastern, maybe some ramp work, but the main line is done, it's open. We're excited to start delivering that additional capacity to the system, and in that regard, so we have an additional southbound lane between I-15 and Eastern, an additional exit lane on the Eastern southbound off-ramp, and we did the complete rehabilitation and seismic retrofit of the Eastern and Desert Inn bridges. So a lot of really good stuff in that project that got delivered early. So next project update is I-515 in Charleston, so 95 in Charleston. We just kicked this one off in August. Teams and crews are out there delivering the project. We expect this month traffic impacts mainly on Stewart, Pecos, and Mojave as the crews start performing the foundation work for work to the Stewart Bridge, some demolition of sound walls, barrier rail, and portions of Pecos and Mojave bridge decks. Drainage work and earthwork. Project is expected to last 460 days, concluding spring of 2024. Centennial Bowl, work just continues to go on that, and it will continue. This is the last phase that we're in right now. It started last year. It's the last phase of the project. Project slated for completion in 2024. The next, I think, big shift that we're going to see is the 215 traffic will shift to the brand new bridge on the south side of the project so that we can work on rebuilding the structures to the north. So there will be a shift in traffic coming in the next couple of months. And I think a really cool thing about this is we partnered with the city of Las Vegas to ensure that we have connectivity for bikes and peds across that interchange for anyone who lives up there in the northeast quadrant and really wants to access all of that great retail space on the southwest quadrant. We're going to have access there. It really wasn't a big lift for us, but it was a big request for the city and for anyone who needs to get across that. So we're excited about that additional capacity. I got 2 more slides. I-15 Tropicana underway in construction. The teams have finished the early work in the median of I-15, and they've now shifted to the outside of I-15. Again, substantial completion is currently expected by 2024. Closeout work will go into 2025, but we have an app. It's I-15 Trop. You can get it on the Apple Store or the Android Store. And then I said I only had 2 more slides, and I do. I have 1 slide, but then I have 1 extra bonus thing. So jobs, I always talk about jobs. This month on the agenda, there's 483 job years that will be supported. We're looking at a total through this agenda of 9,099 job years supported during this federal fiscal year. I'm really excited about that. And I said I'm really excited about so many things this time. This is my final, one last thing. I never have anything after this, but it came in hot off the presses on Friday. We are receiving nearly $89 million in an infra grant to help deliver our 395 North Valleys project in Virginia in Reno in partnership with the RTC up there. We're super excited to be able to deliver and get that additional federal funding. It helps us deliver our program. We are under-resourced. You hear us talk about that. And every time we get a little bit of extra, it helps us make sure that we're putting good people to work and we're keeping our community safe and connected. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Do we have any board member questions or comments?
I do. Christine, on the 511 system, what is the difference between that and Google Maps or Waze or anything like that?
I'll have to get back to you very specifically. I don't know if I have a team member in the room that can really talk about how they interplay. We do provide that information to Google. But if you go to Google, you can't necessarily look at our cameras. So that's one of the benefits. Okay. So you can look at our cameras. Our cameras are always up to date. I don't believe you can program a fixed commute into Google and get regular updates. So that's another one of those benefits. Okay. So there's a few benefits that are different than what you can get on Google. I mean, if you're just doing day-to-day route planning, Google may have it. They may not have the crash data. 511 will have crash data. They may not have the up-to-date if there's flooding, and so we try to keep them as up-to-date as possible, but when there's incidents happening, we're really focused on incident management.
Got it. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Anyone else? Anyone up north or on the phone have any questions for the director? Okay, moving on to, appreciate that report, well done. Moving on to consent agenda items number 4 through 17. Does anyone want to hear any of these items separately?
Yes, Governor, this is Gary Perea for the record. I'd like to pull item 12.
Item 12. Got it, okay. Anyone else? Okay, do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda, items number 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17? We We have a motion on the floor. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Okay, item number 12. You want to present that one?
Yeah, sorry. Item 12 is an agreement to, it's an amendment to our agreement with Braemar Environmental Services to continue our displaced person and trash debris cleanup within the department's right-of-way in District 2, Carson City, Washoe, Douglas, Story, Lyon, Churchill, Pershing, and Mineral counties. And it is an amendment. We entered into the agreement initially in October of last year. This amendment will add time and money to extend for 4 more years.
Okay, Member Pereira.
During my agenda update with Darren and Sajid, I brought up my concerns about the price and my questions about the agreement, what the agreement entails. The discussion was very educational, and I believe that the points that were made during that discussion should be a part of the record for this meeting. I'd like to give the executive staff an opportunity to explain what this agreement will do to help address these difficult issues, and maybe they can touch on what has been done thus far.
Thank you, Member Pereira. We have Assistant Director Jenica Keller at the table to address the
Okay.
Good morning, Board. Good morning, Governor, Transportation Board of Directors. My name is Jenica Keller, Assistant Director of Operations. NDOT's overall mission is to provide a safe and connected transportation network and to also be public stewards of those that the roads that we maintain. Includes seeking compassionate solutions that promote public safety for all. We do have a new challenge, which is in our roadway, providing safety to ensure that displaced persons in state roads right away are not posing a public safety hazard to themselves, to the surrounding community, or to the environment. We are working statewide and collaboratively, with community resource and law enforcement agencies that are best able to help us assist with displaced persons with housing and other social services when encampment cleanups are necessary. In January of this year, we entered into an interlocal agreement with the City of Reno to partner on this effort. The City of Reno's Clean and Safe team, when notified, provides access to the Governor's campus and also social services while preserving unclaimed property for the appropriate storage.
Can I interrupt for a minute? Can we fix the audio?
Yeah, I think, Jenica, just continue to face the microphone. When you twist, I think that's what's happening.
Okay. So, thank you, DJ. So back in January, we entered into this interlocal agreement with the City of Reno that basically allows each agency to do what they do best. NDOT to come in and clean and to keep the roadway safe, and the city to provide social services to those who wish to use them. We've also sold the Governor's Bowl site to the City of Reno, which allowed them to build the CARES campus in Washoe County. It features 604 beds, and it saw more than 3,500 people in its first year. Happy
Thank you,
to
Jenica.
follow up.
Thanks, Jenica.
Does that complete your report? Your explanation?
Yes, thank you, Governor.
I believe it does, yes.
Okay. Member Prey, did you have any further questions?
Well, just to bring up, my original concerns were this amendment amount is quite a bit more than the original amount. And I just wanted to, explain, my questions were based on why are we spending this much money on this? Well, could that money be used differently or in a better way? And during the discussion, it was explained to me that there were some requirements on how that money can be spent. And I think what the NDOT is doing and has done has been very responsible in tackling this issue. And so with that, I would make a motion that we approve this agreement, if that's okay.
Okay, do we have any further board member comments on this item? Anybody? No? Okay, we have a motion on the floor. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Moving on to item number, section number 4, item number 18.
Governors and members of the board, this item is your opportunity to approve our purchases of fleet replacement over $50,000 each year. Each biennium, we go to the legislature and get legislative budget authority, but the actual fleet replacement, the actual vehicles, anything over 50,000 requires the board's approval, and that's this agenda item.
Okay. Do we have a motion on the item relating to vehicle replacement? Anybody?
Motion to approve.
Okay. I got 3 of them. Okay, we have a motion on the floor. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Item number 19 is an executive session, which we do not need an executive session. That moves us on to item number 20, public comment. This is the second time set aside for public comment. Anyone wishing to address the board on any item under our purview, please step forward, identify yourself for the record, and comments be limited to 3 minutes. I'll start in Las Vegas. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you very much. My name is Lisa Ortega. I'm the Nevada Plants Executive Director, Environmental Steward for Las Vegas DSA, Sierra Club XCOM, and a member of the Nevada Environmental Justice Coalition. I'm honored to be here again with you, Governor, Lieutenant Governor, Director Swallow, board members, and Engineer Gomez. I'm here today asking NDOT to plant trees, remove and replace dead trees, create more institutional knowledge about tree care, proper pruning equipment, replace old irrigation and or expand irrigation to save older trees to help combat air pollution and urban heat island for all residents, especially those living near freeways. Take for instance Chaparral High School. The school sports area is back onto I-95 and most trees there are dead or long removed. Many dead stumps are still being watered. I'm asking you to plant for Chaparral High School and any other school near I-95 and I-15 as soon as possible. We are asking for a new landscape plan for freeways in Nevada. The aesthetics plan from 06 does not address today's increasing problems such as air quality and urban heat island that landscape can indeed remediate. Current scientific evidence suggests that anger and violence increase during heat waves. Some studies also show a connection between heat waves and learning and attention problems. Nevada has high levels of pollution according to the American Lung Association. Both the Las Vegas and Reno metro areas rank in the top 25 for ozone pollution. Reno has high levels of short-term fine particle pollution. A study from Harvard published last year found that air pollution was directly responsible for up to 1 in 5 deaths worldwide. The U.S. experiences about 350,000 excess deaths per year due to pollution. Both ozone and particulate pollution increase rates of asthma, COPD, and hospital admissions for respiratory problems. Children who grow up in areas with high pollution have more chance of developing asthma, have reduced lung function as adults. Several studies show a link to chronic exposure to fine particulates with memory loss in older people, like cognitive impairment and dementia. Some studies show dangerous effects of living near busy streets and highways where there are more tailpipe emissions. Other information suggests a connection between chronic pollution exposure and Parkinson's disease. A study in Britain showed a connection between growing up in a neighborhood of high pollution and intellectual disability. One in Chile showed that high school students scored worse on tests on days with high levels of pollution. And one in New York conducted pollutants with attention and learning difficulties. Trees sequester carbon, hold particulate matter, and pull the air. This change in landscape is doable and is necessary for the future health of Nevada. And there should be funds coming, so thank you.
Thank you for your comments.
Thanks.
Good morning. My name is Joanne Leovy, L-E-O-V as in Victor Y. I'm also here to ask NDOT to consider updating its landscape and aesthetic plans to account for the benefit of carefully selected and well-maintained trees along NDOT roadways, particularly in urban heat island areas. As a family physician recently retired from a federally qualified health center, I'm speaking on behalf of the patients I've served for the last 7 years. These patients disproportionately live, work, and attend school near major highways and thus are particularly vulnerable to the excess air pollution and heat found in our urban core. I also speak as a member of the Nevada State Medical Association and Medical Society Consortium for Climate and Health, which recognize climate change effects including urban heat and air pollution as a public health emergency. Transportation emissions are major sources of air pollutants which cause myriad health problems, including heart attack, stroke, lung diseases, cancer, preterm birth, and perinatal mortality. They likely also contribute to diabetes, Parkinson's disease, learning and intellectual disorders, and dementia. Many residents living along the I-15 and I-93-95 corridors in the Las Vegas Valley have multiple other socioeconomic barriers to health, and air pollution affects them disproportionately. Trees can provide multiple health benefits which occur in hyperlocal environments and thus can be targeted to the largely low-income and high health need communities in the island areas. Appropriately planted and maintained trees filter and remove particulate pollution. By reducing heat, they decrease ground level ozone formation. Trees have been shown to reduce stress, lower blood pressure, improve mood, and improve attention in children. According to a tree equity score analysis done by American Forests, communities of color have 33% less tree canopy. The benefit of tree canopy on reducing heat and poor air quality is increasingly understood and is included in the City of Las Vegas Master Plan and the All-in Clark County Sustainability Plan. NDOT has not updated its landscape plans for Southern Nevada freeways for over 15 years, so updating these plans to include the value of trees will align NDOT with other local agencies and help address inequities in communities living near NDOT roadways. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Teresa Bell, and spelled B-E-L-L. I'm on the executive committee of the local Sierra Club. And I'd just like to talk about, the money that's coming in. Our climate crisis is fueling a public health crisis with extreme heat. Extreme heat is our #1 weather-related cause of death, and U.S. heat-related deaths are expected to rise nearly 100,000 annually by the end of the century due to climate change. Fortunately, those wonderful carbon capture devices, trees, are also our most powerful natural solution for heat, with ability to cool the area beneath them more than 20 degrees Fahrenheit. I read that is why cities such as Phoenix, Detroit, Boston have launched initiatives to spread equitable tree canopy citywide as a way to save lives and energy while naturally capturing more carbon emissions. This powerful combination of public benefits explains why lawmakers put roughly $30 billion into the Inflation Reduction Act for nature-based climate solutions. And this includes urban trees, $1.5 billion in grants through the U.S. Forest Service to help cities and their partners to plant and protect urban trees, save lives from extreme heat and air pollution. This will be leveraged by $1.8 billion for the U.S. EPA and $3 billion for U.S. Department of Transportation to invest in neighborhood heat resilience, including trees, cool paving, community preparedness, and other heat interventions. We must move quickly for implementation. I request that NDOT update landscape and aesthetic plans to incorporate appropriate tree planting and maintenance in areas that are affected by urban heat island and poor air quality conditions. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Linda Stout, S-T-O-U-T, and I'm a parent of 4 young adults, one with asthma. And as a retired educator and volunteer with Sierra Club Southern Nevada Group and affiliation with the Nevada Environmental Justice Coalition, I also speak on behalf of my family, my community, and the trees. Environmental injustices from excessive heat and air pollution disproportionately affect people living in neighborhoods with heavy traffic and limited green spaces. As part of the bipartisan infrastructure package, Nevada was given more than $4 billion for highways, transit, and numerous other critical services that mitigate climate change. With these investments, I'm asking the Nevada Department of Transportation to plant, replace, and maintain trees along our highways and off-ramps to address the unequal impacts of rising temperatures and air pollution. Every day, my son cycles to work along tree-lined roads that pass directly over 215 Beltway and near the US 95. The community where we live is located within 1 mile of 2 major intersecting freeways. At least 5 schools, 4 parks, a library, and a YMCA are within the pollution zone. Proximity to roads and freeways is directly correlated with poor health. Over 26 million people in the U.S., including 6 million children, suffer from asthma. In 2020, the American Lung Association stamped Las Vegas with an F for its failing air quality. Trees play an important role in absorbing and reducing pollutants. Additionally, trees mitigate excessive heat by providing shade and cooling. According to RTC's Extreme Heat Vulnerability Project fact sheet, there were 568 heat-related deaths in southern Nevada between 2009 and 2018. The 2021 research report on the urban heat island effect shows that Las Vegas's average downtown temperatures are 5 degrees higher than surrounding suburbs. Peak afternoon temperatures are even hotter, 15 to 20 degrees higher in some areas. At a time when the Southern Nevada Water Authority is mandating a removal of non-essential grass, planting trees must be prioritized in communities with the fewest green spaces. Landscaping, tree maintenance, and irrigation repairs along freeways and ramps are environmental justice investments. As promised in the infrastructure package, this is an opportunity for NDOT to act on our nation's commitment to ensure a healthy, prosperous, equitable future for all. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have anyone else in Las Vegas wishing to make comments? Okay, do we have anyone in Carson City?
Yes, sir. We have Susan Fisher.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you, Governor, Lieutenant Governor, and board members. For the record, my name is Susan Fisher. I'm with McDonald Carano, and I'm speaking this morning on behalf of Nevada Housing Alliance, which is the manufactured home dealers and related vendors. On Monday, August 29th at 4:23 p.m., I received an email from your overdimensional permit supervisor advising us that in 2 weeks after that point, on 9/12, today, that there would be road closures on US 95. And the manufactured home dealers, all of the manufactured homes for the most part are coming from Idaho area. So they come down 95. And we would not be able to get manufactured homes through there for a period of, they said, until around the middle of November 11/15 or until the snow flies, when the road construction would stop. So that gave us a couple of weeks to scramble and try and get homes through, get ones that were available to get through. At this time, there are close to 30 homes that have been on order. There have been vast delays in manufacturing of the homes. They've been taking 18 to 24 months. So people have been waiting for their homes. And so we were scrambling to get homes through, but on Thursday, 9/1 at 4 p.m., a little after 4 p.m., we received notice via email that now the following Monday or Tuesday after Labor Day weekend on 9/2, that's when the roads would be closed. We cannot reroute these homes because there is significant cost to the homeowners, anywhere from $7,500 to $10,000, depending on which other route they take because of the additional amount of time. These homes are financed at the time of the order, when they place the order, and so this would be an additional significant amount on the homeowners. All we ask for is more time, more notice time, and we understand staff has been great since we've reached out and said, please give us more time. They're trying to work with the contractor to give us a small window of time. We cannot transport in evening hours. It has to be during daylight. We cannot transport these homes on weekends when the construction is shut down. So we just need to have a small window of time when they can move the K-rails, let us get the homes through. If they tell us it's 6 o'clock in the morning, one day every other week, we would be thrilled to have that window. And that's all I have to say. I do have one of the dealers here today who can talk about the oversized homes as well if you have any additional questions. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Do we have anybody else in Carson City?
I am not seeing anyone approach the podium, and we don't have anybody else registered for public comment.
We need written or telephonic public comment?
Lisa also submitted written comment this morning and will be included as part of the minutes for the meeting.
In addition to the first comment? Okay. Okay, could we don't deliberate on any items during public comment, could we get an agenda item to deal with the trees along the freeway? I mean, I've noticed that myself, a lot of them seem to die, you know, and are
For
just left
clarification,
there.
you want it as an agenda item or part of the
Yeah,
director's
an agenda
report?
item.
An agenda
An
item.
agenda that talked about the situation now and what we could do and come up with a plan. I don't know how long it would take you to put together that kind of information, but
I'll work with your team to
Okay.
make sure that it has the proper content. It'll probably be November.
okay, be great. Do we have any other board member comments?
I do.
Justin, go ahead.
Gary Perea had referenced item number 12. Mine's a little bit different on item number 12. When we were going over the board briefing, consistently over the last couple of months, we've talked about augmentation of staffing, supplementing staffing and stuff because we don't have staffing. So in my board briefing with Darren, we went over it and he enlightened me on a couple things that NDOT itself is having a problem filling positions. Staffing itself is over 30% down from optimal levels. And I would just like to know if staff or the department can put together some sort of salary compensation report in order to start the dialogue of trying to figure out what we can do in order to solve the issue before it just keeps escalating.
Yes, we can. DHRM on a semi-annual basis in advance, the legislature does do a salary survey. So if possible, I'd like to make sure their most current one was out before we provide a report because we'd like to use that data.
Is that good?
Yep.
Yep, bring it back to us for discussion and place it. This is an issue we're facing with every agency in all of the state is salary and compensation studies are just not up to the private sector. And we're losing people.
We are.
Which is causing a problem for business and delays. So, anything further from any board members? Do we have anything further up north? No? I think you can't hear me. Okay, hearing none. We are adjourned. Thanks, everybody.